Lakes Take is brought to you by Arrowwood Lodge at Brainerd Lakes.
Hey, this is your Lakes Take with your take around the lakes. My name is Elliot, and this is the man that'll probably ruin your kid's Easter hunt, Zeke.
Last week was supposed to be Severe Weather Awareness Week in Minnesota, but it was canceled due to severe weather. We were supposed to have tornado drills last Friday. They were canceled because Minnesota is the only place where you cancel a tornado drill because of blizzards and flooding.
Well, on the eve of Minnesota passing a hands-free bill for drivers, maybe not the case for one St. Peter's teenager. An 18-year-old woman was pulled over driving, well, on FaceTime and doing 96 miles an hour. In all fairness, though, I don't think she was using her hands with the phone, so loophole.
President Trump was in the state on Monday to talk about a new tax bill, some tax filing on tax day, in conjunction possibly with a presidential run for 2020. Upon hearing this, Canadians said yes, we'll build the wall, and built a wall between Minnesota and Canada to keep Trump out.
Gotta say thanks to the Detroit Lakes Ultra Snowmobile Club. They donated $1,000 to the food pantry. Very cool of them. Ironically, that number, $1,000, is about all that my snowmobile is worth, and that's being generous.
St. Paul residents furious at FIFA right now, specifically the CONCACAF, which is the FIFA affiliated body for soccer. The reason they're upset is because they recently came out with a press release saying that the new Allianz Stadium is in Minneapolis and not St. Paul. We're the Twin Cities. Why can't we all just get along?
Well, this past week, everyone got their first look ever at what a black hole looks like in space. It absolutely swept over social media. I find it funny that they think this is the first time they've seen a black hole. Apparently, they haven't seen Zeke's resume.
University of North Dakota President Mark Kennedy is the final candidate for the same position at the University of Colorado. When asked why he would leave UND for Colorado, he said, "I wanted to go to a school with a good hockey program."
Hey, want to say thanks to anyone, by the way, that decided to walk a mile in her shoes in Perm a few weeks back. A lot of heads being turned by all those guys walking in those high heels. I've tried it before, once or 100 times, depending on, I don't want to go there.
Those stilettos or wedges? Which do you rock?
I'm a little bit more of a wedge guy.
Wedge guy. The Minnesota Timberwolves ended their season last week, missing the playoffs. The first time the Wolves have missed the playoffs since 2018.
It was fun while it lasted. Well, with winter wrapping up, it is a season where we saw a lot of vehicle accidents, including one that wasn't even weather-related, where a vehicle in Frazee went through a trailer house, just missing the occupants of the trailer by feet. Thankfully, no one was hurt in the house. The driver had minor injuries, so basically the only thing that was hurt was probably the driver's pride.
The Minnesota Vikings were in White Earth last weekend to celebrate Mahnomen-Waubun being named the Minnesota Vikings Football Community of the Year. Players, coaches, cheerleaders up in Mahnomen-Waubun with their notebooks asking Coach Clark, how do you win big games in US Bank Stadium?
News broke the other week that maybe 11,000 people's information compromised after a data breach. The Minnesota Department of Human Services. The good news is those 11,000 people have already had their data breach, probably from Facebook. So really, and then you haven't lost already.
One of the most highly anticipated movies of 2019 hits box offices on April 26th, Avengers Endgame. So parents with adult children living in your basement, you get your basement back next Friday.
And speaking of movies, this will be my last time on Lakes Take. I'm taking my acting career to the third installment of Magic Mike XXXXXXXL.
You want to use my resume?
That's your Lakes Take, with your take around the lakes.
Lakes Take is brought to you by Arrowwood Lodge at Brainerd Lakes.